From legendary names to bold new bets, 19 pickups are skidding toward the edge, and fast. We're exposing the silent collapse the industry won't talk about. Some are falling hard, others are fading quietly, and one brand shows up again and again. But spotting it? That's the real challenge. So watch closely, your favorite might be next. Let's get started. At number 19 is the Nissan Frontier. Back in its glory days around 2016, the Nissan Frontier was unstoppable. Nearly 80,000 units left the showroom, winning hearts with its tough bones and simple, no-nonsense repairs. A true blue-collar legend. By 2020, that magic had fizzled. Sales sank to about 26,000 units. In 2023, the Frontier clawed back with around 50,100 units sold, and another 5,800 units moved in 2024. It survived, but the threat of fading out still lurks. The new Frontier borrows a bit of the Colorado ZR2 vibe in some trims, with a squared-off look that reminds some folks of a Silverado, or even a budget Navara in disguise. But it's not the build holding it back. Drivers still remember those nightmare CVT issues. Nissan sells every Frontier it can build, but keeping up is tough. Prices now start at around $33,500 and climb to about $43,300. And it was never exactly a budget bruiser to begin with. Rivals like the Tacoma, Ranger, and Isuzu D-Max keep charging ahead with bolder engines, modern cabins, and smarter tech. Meanwhile, the Frontier still feels stuck in yesterday's playbook. Dealers toss out juicy incentives, but buyers aren't biting. Resale stays shaky, trust feels thin, and unstoppable rivals are moving in. No coffin yet, but the Frontier is clinging on by its fingernails. Weird doesn't always mean wonderful, but the next one? It tried to be a Titan and tripped on its own size. Number 18 is the Honda Ridgeline. You won't find Honda on many lists of struggling truck brands, but this one's the oddball exception. It's the outlier in an otherwise rock-solid lineup. Back in 2006, it peaked with over 50,000 units sold, winning over drivers who wanted a Honda with a bed. But by 2017, even after a redesign, sales barely hit 34,700. A few years later, they barely moved 32,000 units, until 2023, when sales jumped to just over 52,000. But the victory was short-lived. In 2024, Ridgeline deliveries dropped to around 41,400, a sharp decline of over 20% year over year. So what went wrong? The Ridgeline tried to be everything: car-like, truck-like, suburban, rugged, and ended up a no-man's land machine. Hardcore truck fans scoffed at its unibody frame. Soft roaders thought it was too truckish. Even the clever in-bed trunk couldn't rescue its street cred. Honda tried a mild refresh, but prices now hover around $41,200. That's a tough sell when a Tacoma or Ranger feels tougher and costs less. Meanwhile, Ford's Maverick muscled in with cheaper, flashier crossover truck mashups. If Honda ever pulls the plug, they'll likely crank up production elsewhere to cushion the blow. The Ridgeline is skating closer to extinction than Honda dares to admit. Number 17 is the Toyota Tundra. This was once Japan's toughest truck. Back in 2007, the Toyota Tundra sold over 196,000 units, shaking Detroit's confidence. Then came a long decline after it dropped the bulletproof V8. Following the 2021 redesign, Tundra sales fell 40% below launch year expectations, the worst drop among full-size pickups. But on paper, things looked better. 2 years ago, Toyota sold around 125,000 units and added about 34,000 more in 2024, a solid year-over-year gain of over 27%. But don't get too comfortable. The first quarter of 2025 shows sales flattening once again, hinting that the Tundra may be living on borrowed time. Brand loyalty is its life support. And let's face it, everyone knows Toyota's badge buys second chances. So why the struggle? That new 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 hybrid may be powerful, but it added complexity and costs that owners never asked for. High trims now go beyond $51,000, and buyers feel overwhelmed by complicated tech and pricey repairs. Toyota's recent recall fiasco only deepened the wound. with some dealers outright refusing trade-ins. Incentives and loyalty perks haven't stopped Tundras from gathering dust on the lot. Unless Toyota rewrites this story fast, the Tundra risks going from giant killer to showroom fossil buried by its own complexity. What about a truck that wore freedom like a costume? At number 16, we have the Jeep Gladiator. Some called it a Wrangler with a bed, but the Jeep Gladiator was always more of a gamble. Launched with off-road glory in mind, it roared past 90,000 sales in 2021. People loved the open-air doors-off freedom, rugged image, and loyal Jeep heritage. But the cracks showed fast. By 2023, sales had dropped to around 54,000, and early 2025 numbers point to even more slowdown. That's nearly a 30% drop since the hype train left the station. Now, speculation is swirling that Stellantis might pull the plug entirely, though a few die-hard fans are still keeping the dream alive. And the pricing? That's the real kicker. Since 2019, prices have shot up by 50%, turning a fully loaded Gladiator Rubicon into a $60,000 beast. Jeep tried to chase premium status, but ended up pricing out its own fans. It feels familiar. Back in the 80s, the original Wagoneer was a true luxury legend. But today, with luxury brands offering 7-seat SUVs and crossovers on every corner, Jeep's push to charge nearly $50,000 just feels out of touch. Competitors are chipping away at its market from every angle with lower prices. It has the looks, the legacy, and the price tag of a midlife crisis. Coming up next, a stylish newcomer that's taking on water fast. Number 15 is the Hyundai Santa Cruz. The HMC, Hyundai Motor Company, rules the road with sedans. But their compact truck, the Santa Cruz, is shaping up to be a costly misfire. After a strong debut in 2021 and breakout sales in 2022, with over 36,000 units sold, the Santa Cruz plateaued in 2023, then slipped into decline in 2024 with a 13% drop. And the first half of 2025 looks even worse, with sales down over 20% compared to the same period last year. This isn't just a market shift. This truck is losing serious ground. The real problem is reliability. The 2023 Santa Cruz landed near the bottom when it came to dependable pickups. Owners have reported all kinds of serious issues. Turbocharger failures are especially common, and fixing one can cost you around $1,500. Then, there's the dual clutch transmission. It causes power loss, rough shifting, and in many cases, drops the truck into limp mode. Some drivers even had to replace the entire transmission. Electrical failures, premature brake wear, and dashboard glitches only add to the frustration. Two major recalls in 2023, roof moldings and tow hitch wiring, didn't help. With trust eroding and competition heating up, the Santa Cruz is no longer riding the wave. It's on the verge of being washed out. The next wave isn't any kinder. It's a classic name with a not-so-classic problem. But before we dive in, smash like and subscribe. More brutal truths and busted legends are just getting started. Number 14 is the Chevrolet Silverado. The electric wave was supposed to be Chevrolet's next big moment. Instead, the Silverado EV is shaping up to be a costly stumble, and it's happening in real time. The truck officially hit the market in mid-2023 with just under 500 units delivered that year. Sales picked up in 2024, hitting around 7,400 units, and just over 2,000 were moved in Q2 alone. But compared to its gas-powered sibling, which sold more than 550,000 units in 2024, the EV version barely registers. By 2025, momentum has stalled. Despite early hype, demand is soft and fading fast. The bigger issue? Quality. Owners are already reporting major problems at low mileage. Trucks bricking before hitting 3,000 miles. Complete power loss. Software glitches. Dash screens freezing. Random warning lights. Even faulty driver assistance and key missing errors that leave the vehicle locked out. In one case, the entire battery system needed service before the truck had even been broken in. At nearly $80,000 to start, buyers expect more. but the Silverado EV has struggled with part delays and recalls. A recent recall even flagged over 62,000 Silverado models for brake switch fire risk. Not exactly a confidence booster. It's futuristic on paper, but out on the road, the Silverado EV is already running out of charge. Unfortunately, its rival sibling is flickering even harder. Number 13 is the Ford F150 Lightning. You're probably shocked to see a Ford F-Series on this list. But yes, even the mighty can stumble. Launched with massive hype in 2022, the Lightning promised to electrify America's best-selling truck. And for a moment, it did. Early adopters were all in, but the shine faded fast. Real-world towing? A disaster. Owners found their range plummeting when hauling even modest loads, sometimes cutting capacity by more than half. Not exactly what truck buyers signed up for. Then came the price hikes. The base model that once started near $40,000 shot past $60,000 in just over a year. Ford has since rolled out massive incentives. But even with those, inventory is piling up on dealer lots. In 2024, Ford cut production targets twice and laid off workers at the Lightning's assembly plant. Why? Because this truck feels like a mismatch. The tech is flashy, but traditional truck buyers want durability, range, and utility, not just oversized touchscreens. The result? A revolutionary truck that doesn't fully click with its core audience. The Lightning isn't dead yet, but let's be real, it's flashing warning signs all over the dash. Back in 2023, Ford sold just over 24,000 units. Last year, production was cut by half, and fast forward to the first half of 2025, sales have plunged, with some quarters barely clearing 20,800 units. It came in blazing, but now the spark is fizzling. Oh, and we haven't seen the last of its gas-powered twin. Taking the 12th space is the Nissan Navara. We're back with Nissan, yet again. And no, don't expect to see them topping any reliability charts. Between 2020 and 2025, the Navara experienced a shaky ride in sales. In 2020, it moved just under 37,000 units. It climbed back to around 60,700 in 2021 and peaked at March $76,000 in 2022. But that included sales of the Frontier variant. By 2023, sales slid to roughly 58,000. And although 2024 bounced back to nearly 70,000, its market share had already been deeply dented. In key regions like Australia, European sales of the Navara ended completely by late 2021 due to poor demand. In South Africa, Nissan's overall market presence halved by 2024, and Navara sales plummeted 43% in the first half of 2025. Under the steel, a host of mechanical gremlins undermine the Navara's robustness. Gearbox complaints top the list. Drivers report gear shifting issues, clutch slippage, and transmission cooler failures that lead to overheating or even burnt transmission oil. Suspension components fatigue quickly under load, especially when hauling heavy cargo. The YD25 diesel engine is notorious for timing chain stretch, crankshaft and guide wear, and turbocharger hiccups, sometimes costing tens of thousands to fix. These factors, all backed by declining demand and steep discounts, signal a model that is far from future-proof. Number 11 is the Chevrolet Colorado. Around 2016, this truck was on a tear. It roared past 109,000 sales, taking on the mighty Tacoma and grabbing headlines as a legit mid-size beast. Chevy had its swagger, no doubt, but today, the applause is gone. Sales slid to 96,000 in less than 5 years, then limped to 89,000 in 2023, and 2025 forecasts look shaky at best. So why the fade? Chevy chased big numbers with small details, more horsepower, turbo hype, rugged marketing, but forgot the heart of a true work truck. They pushed prices sky high, with fully loaded Colorados brushing $50,000, while folks just wanted a simple, honest machine. Add in a reputation for rough transmission issues and unpredictable electronics, and trust started evaporating. Buyers watched, wallets shut, Meanwhile, Toyota kept the Tacoma as bulletproof as ever. Ford brought back the Ranger with just right upgrades. Even the Maverick strolled in, winning over budget buyers without trying too hard. Colorados are now gathering dust, overshadowed by rivals with clearer missions and better value. Muscle meet memory loss. But don't blink, the next one might look familiar, yet feel completely forgotten. In the 10th spot is the GMC Canyon. Lately, the numbers tell a harsh truth. In 2023, GMC moved about 68,000 Canyons. Not awful, but nothing heroic. By 2024, things got gloomier, with sales slipping closer to 60,000. That's a rough slide for a truck meant to be the premium mid-size pick. Something's clearly strangling it, and price is a big one. GMC asked thousands more than a Colorado for the same frame, same engines, same everything, just with fancier trim and a shinier badge. Buyers felt hustled. Then came the rivals. Tacoma kept its rock-solid image. Ranger returned with muscle and smarts. Maverick brought hybrid magic for a price the Canyon couldn't touch. Even the Colorado, its own corporate cousin, made the Canyon look silly. Add in its nagging transmission quirks, spotty tech, and higher insurance bills, and shoppers quietly ghosted. Loyalty bonuses and dealer cash haven't stopped them from drifting away. Now, Canyons are stacking up, waiting for someone to take a chance. But fewer people are lining up. Number 9 is the Ram Classic. This truck once roared with pride. Back around 2012, it racked up nearly 250,000 sales. A working man's beast with a V8 heartbeat and no-nonsense bones. People respected its honesty. But times moved on. In 2023, it pulled in just 55,000 buyers. Sales held on briefly in 2024, but not by much. And 2025's first numbers look even weaker. That's a brutal tumble, more than a 70% dive since its prime. Something went sour. The Classic clings to a 2009 skeleton with crusty infotainment, clunky plastics, and safety ratings from another era. Buyers today crave modern comforts, smarter tech, and fewer trips to the pump. Meanwhile, the market kept charging forward. Compact hybrids stole budget buyers. Full-sizers added luxury and tech swagger. Even loyal Ram fans started glancing across the fence. Ram tried to bandage the bleeding with deep rebates and loyalty perks. It wasn't enough. Dealers are stuck babysitting rows of classics, hoping someone still wants an old-school brute. There's talk about giving it a sunset send-off, but no word yet. One thing's sure, the Ram Classic is living on borrowed time. A legend refusing to hang up its boots in a world that has moved on. Number 8 is the GMC Hummer EV. This beast arrived like a sledgehammer, shouting super truck at the top of its lungs. A 9,000-pound, crab-walking, all-electric monster that looked ready to conquer the planet. GM aimed for an ultra-premium EV statement piece, hoping for bragging rights. But bragging rights don't pay the bills. In 2022, it managed a few thousand eager buyers chasing novelty. Since then, sales have crawled, with 2024 numbers sputtering under 3,000. That's microscopic for something so hyped. The reason? It's a spectacle, not practical. We're talking a truck pushing 6 figures in price, tipping the scales like a tank, and guzzling electrons faster than a phone on 1% battery. Range tanks under real towing or off-roading, and charging that beast is a mission. Meanwhile, the market shifted. Buyers want real utility and reasonable pricing. GM is already pivoting, moving battery resources toward the Equinox EV and Blazer EV, trucks they can actually sell to real humans. Dealers are now waving around massive incentives just to move the Hummer EV off the lot. Sooner than everyone wants to admit, this flashy showpiece may go extinct, remembered more for crab walk memes than any true truck legacy. Coming at number 7 is the Chevrolet Avalanche. When it launched in 2002, the Avalanche was a sensation. Nearly 93,000 units flew off lots that first year. It felt like a Swiss Army knife on wheels. Part SUV, part truck, part suburban dream machine. People loved the flexible midgate and big block V8 grunt. Saddle, by 2012, the story had changed. Sales fell to barely 20,000. Customers realized its quirky shape came with compromises: heavy curb weight, clunky handling, and awkward bed proportions. Gas prices were climbing too, and the Avalanche drank fuel like a frat boy on spring break. By the time GM pulled the plug in 2013, it had lost nearly 80% of its best year volume, and attempts to revive its spirit through Silverado special trims haven't stuck. Between 2020 and 2025, there's been no true Avalanche comeback, just a faint echo of what it was. Why no resurgence? Trucks today are sharper. Ram's 1500, even mid-size names like Tacoma simply do the job better. Flexible SUV truck mashups aren't in demand anymore. GM has quietly shifted focus, putting engineering muscle behind its EV lineup instead. Unless a miracle happens, the Avalanche stays buried, a weird experiment whose time ran out. Number 6 is the Ford F150 Hybrid. This one was mixed from the start, and now it looks like Ford's gas-electric gamble is sputtering to a halt. The F150 Hybrid was pitched as the smart middle ground in 2021, more efficient than the standard gas model without the full EV leap. But what buyers got instead was a truck with growing pains, and plenty of them. Consumer Reports hit it with a brutal 4 out of 100 reliability score. Not a typo. Sales reflected the hesitation. After a decent start in 2021 and 2022, demand began tapering off in late 2023. By mid-2025, hybrid F-150s are sitting longer on lots, especially with buyers leaning toward fully electric or sticking with tried-and-true gas models. Transmission failures, drive system issues, and weak body integrity top the list of complaints. Drivers have also flagged recurring problems with climate systems, brakes, and glitchy in-car electronics. It's not just annoying, it's costly. Some owners worry their truck won't even survive past 40,000 miles without a major repair bill. Even with solid fuel economy on paper, it's become clear this hybrid struggles with the truck part of being a truck. Towing capacity and long-haul performance just don't measure up to expectations. Number 5 is the GMC Sierra 1500. It has always looked the part, bold, polished, ready to rumble. But under the hood, it's been hiding a pile of problems that buyers are finally done ignoring. Let's rewind. The 2017 model year was especially rough. Suspension issues were widespread, with owners reporting a bouncy, uneven ride, especially on rough or uneven roads. Not ideal for a full-size pickup meant to take on job sites or long hauls. The suspension didn't just underperform. In many cases, it flat out failed. But it didn't stop there. Drivers also dealt with constant electrical headaches, flickering dashboard lights, glitchy sensors, random warning messages. These weren't just cosmetic annoyances, they often led to steep repair bills, sometimes upwards of $200 for diagnostics and replacements. And let's not forget the recall parade that followed, ranging from airbags to power steering failures. Sales of the Sierra 1500 peaked around 232,000 units in 2017, but the momentum hasn't held steady. By 2023, sales dipped closer to 150,000, and market confidence has taken a noticeable hit. With rising competition, reliability concerns, and a growing list of owner complaints, this once premium truck is now fighting to stay relevant. Next up at number 4 is the Nissan Titan. Back in 2005, this V8 bruiser rumbled past 86,000 units sold, giving American heavyweights some serious heartburn. It looked like a real contender ready to bite at Ford and Chevy, but that roar went quiet fast. By 2020, Titan sales had slipped to barely 26,000 units. In 2023, it clawed up to around 19,000, then limped into 2024 with fewer than 16,000 sold, an 80% collapse since its peak. Titan couldn't keep pace with modern rivals. No heavy-duty model, no hybrid trim, no commercial fleet presence. It missed diesel buyers, missed tech-hungry families, missed everyone in between. Dealers watched in horror as leftovers collected dust. Price tags felt sky-high, while a Ram 1500 or Toyota Tacoma offered better resale, more features, and stronger community backing. Even the Tundra stole buyers who refused to gamble on Nissan's limited support. Nissan tried discounts and loyalty rebates, but the damage was done. Titan sat unwanted, while competitors threw down new features, new powertrains, and new incentives. The final nail? Production ended in 2024. No relaunch on the horizon. The Titan went from brave challenger to a fading footnote, buried under missed opportunities and a market that simply moved on. Number 3 is the Ford F-150. Once, this truck was unstoppable. In 2018, Ford sold a jaw-dropping 909,000 F-150s, blanketing job sites, farms, and highways with its badge of blue-collar power. Nobody even dared challenge it. But today, cracks are showing. In 2022, sales dipped to around 653,000. 2023 bounced to roughly 750,000. Yet by 2024, that number stalled, holding steady with no real growth. That's still an 18% drop from its glory years, and early 2025 numbers aren't looking much better. What changed? Ford chased luxury dreams, stuffing the F-150 with leather, panoramic roofs, flashy tech, and pricey hybrid options. That shot the price into the stratosphere. Some trims now flirt with $85,000. Folks didn't sign up for that, and problems keep biting. From finicky 10-speed transmissions to puzzling infotainment resets, these fancy systems drain patience and wallets. Loyal buyers miss the tough, simple, fix-it-yourself Ford. Meanwhile, the Ram 1500 and even Ford's own Maverick undercut it with honest value. These rivals kept it simple, while the F-150 tried to dress up like a luxury SUV. Dealers now park unsold F-150s in rows, tempting buyers with incentives. But money alone won't fix lost trust. Unless Ford listens to its roots, the F-150 risks fading from legend to cautionary tale. A king who forgot the kingdom. Holding down number 2 is the Dodge Dakota. Once a midsize powerhouse in the early 2000s, the Dodge Dakota had swagger, muscle, and a loyal following. But after its 2011 exit, Dodge kept fans guessing about a comeback. In 2023, whispers turned into headlines as Ram teased a revival. But so far, it's been all smoke, no traction. The market isn't waiting. While Ford's Maverick and Toyota's Tacoma are flying off lots, the Dakota nameplate is still stalled in the garage. Buyers want action, not rumors, and that hesitation is killing momentum. Even the older models are showing their age. Suspension issues, sluggish transmissions, and rust-prone frames have pushed resale values way down. Owners frequently complain about erratic steering and electrical gremlins that cause warning lights to flash like a Christmas tree. And let's not forget fuel economy, or the lack of it. In a world of hybrids and turbocharged efficiency, the Dakota's thirsty V6 just doesn't cut it anymore. Dodge had a chance to reclaim a legend. Instead, it let time and rivals run laps around it. And finally, topping the list at number 1 is the Ford F-350. Once a go-to for serious towing and heavy-duty pride, the F-350 is now raising more eyebrows than admiration. In recent years, it's been plagued with a storm of complaints that no amount of muscle can hide. The 2023 model saw a noticeable dip in consumer confidence, and early 2024 data shows an unsettling trend. More recalls, more breakdowns, and more owners questioning their loyalty. Even the 6.7L Power Stroke diesel, once a bragging right, has been linked to fuel injector issues and turbo lag that make towing feel less powerful and more problematic. Add to that shaky steering, frequent death wobble reports, and persistent transmission failures, especially in the 10-speed automatic, and trust starts to erode fast. Repairs on these trucks aren't cheap, with engine and drivetrain fixes often climbing well past $4,000. And now, the numbers are following the noise. Sales slipped nearly 12% between 2023 and mid-2024, as longtime buyers start to question if this heavy-duty icon is still worth the wait. You've just seen which pickups are circling the drain, but the problem runs deeper. Some entire car brands are hanging by a thread. In the next video, we're diving into the 5 car brands no one is buying and why they're disappearing fast.